Now, bright as day, show us the world, lead the way.
Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Emily.
And I'm Miss Emma.
And we're the Movie Moms. And today we're going to be talking about Mean Girls. This episode of the Movie Moms is brought to you by Sac Rooted. Sac Rooted is a Sacramento-based apparel company with the mission of making Sacramento better with every shirt sold. You can get yours at sacrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com. Mean Girls that came out in 2004.
Yeah, it's 20 years old.
Just like me.
Yeah, exactly.
Starring Lindsay Lohan, Rachel McAdams, Lacey how do you say it? Lacey Chabert, Lizzie Kaplan, Amanda Seyfried, and a whole bunch of other people. But those are the main four.
Mm-hmm. And Tina Fey.
Tina Fey starring in there.
She makes it, yeah.
Exactly. Written by Tina Fey, of course. Directed by Mark Waters. I think that's all we need to know about that. Rated 7.1 on IMDb.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah?
I don't know. You're the IMDb. I don't.
It's out of 10. It's out of 10.
I assumed it was out of 10, but I don't know how hard the critics are there.
Yeah.
Like, are there any perfect 10s?
Paddington 2.
Haven't seen it, but I still feel like, I don't know. Out of all the movies in the world, I don't know.
It's a running joke amongst the critics that Paddington 2 has had the perfect score for so long. And like, if anyone dares to go on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb and like ruin the perfect score, like you're just exiled, basically. Because it is just like a sweet, sweet story about a little bear and his family, you know?
There you go.
Anyway, a 7 feels low to me. I feel like for the amount of like.
Now, when was this given?
Yeah, like at the first viewing, maybe like the premiere, I could see it. It wasn't a huge hit. Okay, honestly, I don't know why I bothered.
Rude. Anyways, I don't know exactly how it went at the box office in 2004, as I was 10 years old. But I feel like I've heard maybe somewhere you can cut this out if it's not true, or you can write a disclaimer if it's not true. That is kind of one of those films that like wasn't necessarily like a huge box office success, but a cult classic afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, because none of us could go to the movies by ourselves yet. Yeah, I was 14. 14, 15? Yeah, and we just couldn't go or couldn't afford it. And then like waited for it to come out on DVD.
Yeah. There's no social media at the time to be like promote like that.
No way. And like the catchphrases weren't hashtags. They were just like a cultural phenomenon. Like we just loved them. It was so funny. It was so true to what was going on in our lives.
Well, a lot of them to this day.
To this day.
Often in my daily life.
Yeah. I mean, it's a part of our like culture and society. And I think it's so cool that like this movie, this female director who's already breaking all the ceilings, you know, being a head writer at SNL, first female head writer at SNL. And then, you know, writing this movie by herself and like making it into this thing that was so culturally important. Yeah. And then now coming back with it after she made a hit on Broadway with it and then coming back to it now. It's just such a cool journey that probably nobody, including her, thought would happen with this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm for it. I'm with it. I'm part of it. I would get a fetch tattoo if I could afford it.
That should happen.
Yeah, and I feel like only my
new Go Girl Coco.
Hugo. Great encouragement throughout the day.
Yeah. Say it to my kids. They don't know who the hell Gwen Coco is. Say it to myself. Yeah. Jenks. Little pat on the back.
Yes.
Or none for Gretchen Wieners. Also say that to my kids pretty often.
None for Gretchen Wieners.
And none for Gretchen Wieners. All right.
One of my favorite quotes that I actually wrote down in my notes. It says Miss Emma quote. And my favorite right now is, sorry kid, sucks to suck. Just straight face. Like, meant every word of it. Yeah. Oh, so good. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, so she goes.
What about, when did you see it? When did you first see Mean Girls? How old were you? Yeah?
No, I wasn't allowed to watch PG-13 movies before I was 13. But so probably 13 or something, or 12, maybe at somebody's friend's house or something like that.
Did you hear about it? Did you hear older friends talking about it?
Not at 10. I went to a small private Catholic school. I don't remember hearing about it beforehand, but once I did see it,
Jesus.
Also not true. But just, yeah. And I was a tomboy at the time. Didn't really care. I was, when I was 10, I was really into Pirates of the Caribbean. And I was obsessed with Orlando Bloom. So that's what I was concerned about.
Appropriate.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom.
Would you say he was your sexual awakening?
Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe. He was like the first celebrity crush. You know, like M Magazine or Tiger Beat or different things. And like the centerfold posters.
Chad Michael Murray.
Joe Jonas was my second one.
Justin Timberlake, always.
Yes. But I like, yeah. And Lord of the Rings was huge in our family. Even though he always played, like, oftentimes he played one of the, like, my least favorite characters in the movies, but I still made excuses for Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Like Legolas just has a bunch of obvious lines. I do love elves and stuff, but he's not Aragorn. And in Troy, he's like Prince Harris is like a pathetic character. He's no Brad Pitt. He's no Achilles.
Oh, baby. We know.
But he was closer to my age. Brad Pitt was like who my mom was talking over, and I was like, oh, that can't be it.
Yeah.
No, it's this guy.
My mom liked Brad Pitt, not me.
I rewatch it. I'm like, oh, man.
In Fight Club when I was like in high school, like way too young probably. Just like, I'm going to take this home, watch it by myself for a few minutes because these shirtless men are doing something for me.
It's beautiful. I feel fuzzy inside.
Yes, just like a young, sweaty Brad Pitt, shirtless.
Oh yeah, the whole movie. Long hair.
Like this is my new favorite movie.
Yeah, some tenderness. Yeah, I still like that movie.
Me too. Actually, it's like well written. Yeah, still really funny, well edited.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Norton. Oh, I love Ed Norton.
Yeah,
young, old. He's talented. So gorgeous. I mean, Ed Norton.
Putting it out there.
I'm not reason to date. I just want to know it.
Yeah.
So it's just to be friends.
Yeah. Listen, Ed.
Ed, thanks for listening to the pod. Shout out to you. Thanks for being a fan, buddy. We appreciate it.
This episode of The Movie Moms is brought to you by Sac Rooted. Sac Rooted is a Sacramento-based apparel company with the mission of making Sacramento better with every shirt sold. You can get yours at sacrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com.
Some of the things that, and maybe this ties in with like, how do you view it differently now than you did the first time?
Yeah.
Like now, maybe as a mom or maybe just where I am now in life, like the scene where they all go in front of the mirror at Regina George's house and they have to say something that they don't like about each other and like the mutual
or about themselves.
Yeah. Sorry, about themselves.
Yeah.
And the mutual bonding over like hating on yourself is something I remember and even to this day, if somebody gives you a compliment, I have to bring myself down. Like gives me a compliment, I got to bring myself down. Like
really?
They're like, oh,
you feel like that compulsion, like you don't want to be alienated from the girl group. Is that what is it?
It's like a humbling or like, no, or if it's imposter syndrome, I don't know what it is. Or like, ooh, love that. You're like, or like, love those shoes. Be like, they were hand-me-downs. You know, like I couldn't afford them. I got them from my friend.
Yeah.
You know, or like, you know, this looks so good, and you're like, I'm wearing Spanx. You know,
right.
It's not me. Like everything, or like you got some little thing. You can't. I don't know. I can't. Very well.
You're right.
Well, I got to tear myself down a little bit.
Yeah.
That's self-depreciating.
I'm hoping that, like us being better for our kids, this movie is also better for our kids. You know what I mean? I hope that this is better for the next generation. I hope this storyline and I hope this story arc continues on for more decades. I really do. I think it's important for our girls to know. I think it's important to have some reflection upon how we're treating each other because we can get pretty petty. We can attack each other just naturally, right? And I'm hoping
that in the way that like the old version sort of inspired this generation of feminists to really build each other up instead, to really like focus on our relationships with other females, like female to female, and like really, help each other prosper. I'm hoping that it does that again, but in like a bigger, better way,
That's really what that one, like the fact that this was a problem 20 years ago and today we're so like,
I know.
well, we really haven't made that much progress as ladies as far as like not
You know what,
just like
though?
eating. I mean, a little bit. In
We
some
have
ways.
though. We have made some like people are getting sent to prison for raping girls. Like that's progress. Crazy as it
true.
sounds, like that's progress. Like
But
to
again,
to have men actually be scared to compliment you and to like, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't compliment her ass in those jeans. Like that's progress. Like that's exciting to me.
that's the lady on the
The lady on lady crimes. Gotcha.
And I feel like this was made again pre-social media, so
Yeah.
social media would have like reopened the
Yeah.
whole wound of like that anonymous commenter.
And probably the burn
behind
book is
things.
going to be the anonymous commenter, right? Like it's going to have to trend. That is what it is. It's just bullying, but out in public.
Yes. They're like, yeah, you wrote it down in a book. We just put it in a comment anonymously.
She printed it out. She made copies in a copier on a
Like,
piece of paper.
Black and white, because obviously color printing is too expensive.
Too expensive. It's stupid. It's still too expensive. Okay, so like, yeah, and she prints it out and then she like throws these pieces of paper to spread the news that like one post would do.
Yeah.
So I mean, I am interested to see like how they kind of reworked that. Yeah, because it was very dramatic. It was cool. It was a cool dramatic scene where she's just like throwing flyers everywhere about all this trash people are talking behind each other's backs. And like, this is all everyone's dirt on these flyers that I printed at Kinko's, But so yeah, to see it as just a post now, how are they going to make that dramatic enough for like a movie? And like, how do you depict like text on a page? Because that's all it really is, like how do you really depict a text message or a post that destroys everyone's reputation or whatever?
It's true.
I'm excited to see that.
I tried to do this a couple years ago as like a mental exercise of like when I want to be like take someone down a notch, to be like, or like make a judgmental comment, to be like, you go Glen Coco instead, basically.
Yeah.
Whoever's gonna like walking out of the Orange Theory class in town center.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, I can't afford Orange Theory.
These rich bitches.
Look, if I could afford to go to Orange Theory, I probably would. That'd probably be my jam. I feel like that's where most of judgment comes from. Is things like jealousy, like things that you want. So rather than be like, oh my gosh, those kinds of people be like, congrats, like you go, girl.
You know what? You go, Glen Coco. You go. Right?
You work.
Good for you. You know what?
Absolutely. And then,
she probably had to give a lot of disgusting blow to get that money. Do you know what I'm saying? Listen to me. Let's just talk reality right now. Okay. She gave some really stinky, disgusting blows. But she got that money. She got the ring. She got the money. And now she's at Orange Theory. And she's working off all the regret.
This episode of the Movie Moms is brought to you by Sac Rooted. Sac Rooted is a Sacramento-based apparel company with the mission of making Sacramento better with every shirt sold. You can get yours at sacrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com.
The reason why I wanted to start this podcast, to be honest, is this question is, how did watching this movie or any movie before having kids differ from watching it again as a mom?
Yeah.
Now, I know you watched it last night. I didn't watch it recently, but I have watched it since being a mom. And I can tell you that I related to very different characters.
You go first. Who did you?
Instantly, I was like, Katie's mom, I was like, I get it. We're in a new country. She's never gone to public school. I've always done schooling. That neuroses that she had, that freaking out about, I was like, I get you. This Katie kid, like, I'm going to ground her ass too,
Yeah.
And then I really related in a fearful way to Amy Poehler's character. I
About that.
do. Like I do
How
want
much
to
do
be.
you want to be the cool mom, and what does that mean?
Yeah, like I do want to be the cool mom, but also like, do I? Like I don't want to be the mom that's like feeding him alcohol one day, like that's not.
Also, like handing, like be like, here,
Yeah.
I've got condoms to do that.
No. But I
Like,
also don't want to be like the mom that everyone avoids. Like, oh, we
yeah.
can't hang out at your house because your mom is there, which was like how I grew up. And then that's not what I want to be.
Yeah.
But I can't also be the mom that's like, yeah, go ahead and watch Christina Aguilera music videos. And I hope
Yeah.
you belly dance like them
Watch
too,
movies. Yeah. Spring break.
Yeah, it just really got me thinking about like my parenting. Like, where do I want her to end up, or how much influence do I have of where she ends up? And then like, how does public school that she's in now affect it? And like I was just really thinking about my parenting styles the whole time. And like, God forbid, like maybe she's hardwired to be Regina George.
Yeah.
And
What
I
if
gotta,
your
you know,
child is the Regina George?
fuck. And then what do you do? And then it's too late, isn't it?
Victimizing. And sadly, I feel like a lot of it hurts because partially because you don't want your child to be that, but also because you're like, that I don't want that to be a reflection of who I am, which how narcissistic is that to be like,
But it
oh,
is.
I don't want you to judge me
Right.
because of how my child is being.
But at the same time, like everyone is a product of their environment in some way. So like there isn't like maybe not every choice they make is your fault, but like you've influenced who they are at the core for so long that like their morality has been influenced by you at least,
For the boundaries you have or haven't set.
Right. Or there's the unhealed parts of you that you just transferred to them on accident. And then you're like, oh shit. You're a living embodiment of my depression. Like, oh no. Me too. Me too.
It's like, I see the things on Instagram where like you're breaking cycles, you can't break all of them. Like, as you're like chipping away,
Chipping away.
I guess that's true.
Even one cycle is progress.
Probably good, but it doesn't feel good enough.
Right.
Half of me is like, it's better, and the other half of me is like, that's not good enough.
Also, she's damaged. I failed.
Yeah, exactly. That was my biggest fear about having a kid was like, no matter what I do, this child's going to therapy because
right. Even if
I do my best,
right.
Even if for some reason I broke every cycle, some other person I'm gonna mess it up, and there's just that lack of.
Then their f***ing dad shows up and is like, nope.
Middle of like,
you're right, or
somebody else,
or a terrible teacher, or like.
My thoughts always go to like the worst case scenario, like sexual harassment.
Some perv on the way. Yep.
Things,
I know.
Like
because that's our job is like protect them from that, right? Like our job is like protect our baby, let them thrive. I want you to thrive more than me. I want you to be better than me in all the ways. I just want you to have a better experience than me somehow. And I feel like that is like, that's the dream, but that is probably an unrealistic expectation of as parents. Cause like ultimately, even if it wasn't your fault, in therapy one day, like they're gonna blame it on you or the other parent, right? Like they're gonna have to blame it on someone. It is. And so like you can only do as best as you know how. And then like maybe you'll both be in therapy one day and you can work it out.
My big like takeaway of like how I saw it differently this time around watching it, like I'm sure it like kind of hit, but it didn't really sink in, but it like really stood out to me this time watching it host children. Like being a mom was the whole gym scene with Tina Fey, like the crux of it all. Like, ladies, how do we relate to each other? Like, why are we tearing each other down? Why are we like we already
no reason
down?
Yeah.
Why do we have to be that like we're just like we're just giving when we call ourselves these things, we're just giving all of the men or all of the other people an excuse.
A permission to say that.
To say those same things.
If we call each other whores, which we can do still, but behind closed doors, don't let the men hear it. Yeah, I think so too. And I think, like with Lizzo taking the power back in the word bitch and like making it empowerful or whatever. Yeah. Like I get that and I'm with it. But at the same time, I think I carry that lesson with me too, which is like, I could call you anything. I open my mouth and I can call you anything I want. And I'm going to call you something derogatory, like probably shouldn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably shouldn't. It's just better. It's in everyone's best interest to not tear each other down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, let's call it a day.
Yeah.
Or tipsy at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
That would make it okay.
Yeah. 1
If
a.m.
we're tipsy at 1 p.m. No shame.
No shame.
Let's
Yeah.
cheers.
Day
Hope that
off.
time comes swiftly for you and yours.
Bye.